Hello movie lovers, Bob for Bob's Movie Review here, and today I bring my unboxing and reviews of the new Batman 4Ks releasing June 4th, 2019. Be sure to click subscribe and click on the bell icon to be notified whenever I upload great new content. If you do enjoy the video, be sure to show it some love and give it a like rating. So these were all sent to me by Warner Brothers for review. We're going to look at them all here. First up, you got Batman, Jack Nicholson, Michael Keaton, Kim Basinger. These all include 4K Blu-ray and digital, and they all have a cool color theme going to them. I think they really hit these artworks out of the park. So you got Batman in the foreground, and you got the villain, the Joker, in the background. They're kind of in a blue. You got the Gotham skyline in the front there. And I just noticed this too. The DC there is in blue to match the color on the front. Here's a look at the back. I'm not really going to read these to you guys. If you guys want to know what they are, you could pause real quick. Love the Batmobile in this one. This one is rated PG-13, has a 126-minute runtime. There's just a couple images there from the film. Here's a look at the inside. This does have a great foil to it, so you kind of get that rainbow look to it. The back should pretty much be the same. Open it up, and you got the discs. I meant to grab my previous Batmans, but I forgot just to compare them. Because here's your Blu-ray. Again, it's got blue. It's got kind of that Batman logo there. And then you got, this is actually the skyline upside down, and then you got the 4K disc here. You got the Batman logo over the Gotham skyline. Again, all in blue. Definitely a cool look. They really knew what they were doing when they made this set. So then we go to Batman Returns, and now we're more of a purple color. Batman in the foreground. You got Catwoman and the Penguin in the background. She's more of a pinkish color though, but I mean it's still kind of a purple, I guess. Again, with that foil finish, and there you see the DC in purple. Here's a look at the back. The back is also foiled. Sensational, a funhouse of comic and crazy surprises. A couple images there from the film. This one is rated PG-13, has a 126-minute runtime. Let's check out the inside here. And same kind of look to the discs. You got upside down skyline of Gotham there. The Batman Returns logo. It's a little tough to see, but it does have the bat symbol there, and then again you got the bat symbol over the skyline of Gotham on the 4K, both in purple. I think you guys are starting to see a pattern here. And then here's Batman Returns in kind of a green color, and I mean it makes sense for the Riddler, I guess, but not really for anybody else, but okay. Anyways, so you got here Val Kilmer as Batman, and Jim Carrey as the Riddler, and Tommy Lee Jones as the Two-Face. Nicole Kidman is kind of like Bruce Wayne's love interest in this one, and Chris O'Donnell plays Robin. Again, you got the Gotham skyline. Here's the spine. It's got that green DC logo. If we can focus in on that. Here's a look at the back. The best Batman yet. Well, you didn't see the first two. This one's rated PG-13 and has a 120-minute runtime. I think this is the shortest one. Should pretty much be the same. Here's your inside. There again, you got the Batman. Now see on this one, I guess they're just putting the same logo here. You got the Batman Forever there on the bat symbol. Of course, again, the upside down Gotham skyline. And on the right, you have the 4K with the bat symbol over the Gotham skyline, and again all in green. And finally we have Batman and Robin, and this one is red. The Robin, I think, is kind of why they went the red with this one. So you got George Clooney this time as Batman in the foreground, and Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze in the background. I was kind of curious why they didn't put Poison Ivy on the cover. It seems like she should have been on the cover. Chris O'Donnell, of course, again as Robin. Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy, and Alicia Silverstone plays Batgirl. Now they didn't include Robin on the other cover, so I guess it makes sense not to put Robin and Batgirl, and you got Poison Ivy, Robin, Batgirl. It'd be a little too cluttered there, but I do like this image. I just think it should have had Poison Ivy. And then here's a look at the spine. This one does also have Bane in it, but it doesn't do much. Red there on the DC. There's a look at the back. He's just kind of like a giant beast. It doesn't really, I don't think he has any kind of lines or anything. And here's a look at the inside. On the left there, Batman and Robin over the upside down Gotham skyline. And on the right, the bat symbol over the Gotham skyline. And of course, all in red. So it's very cool. They're all color coded, and they really went all out. You know, the red DC, the red color here, the red DC. The back even kind of, it's kind of all red. You know, you can see, I didn't really mention, you know, you got red on that one, green on this one, purple on this one, and then blue on this one. So, I mean, even the backs, they color coded and everything. Definitely looks really cool. Here's a look at all of them. If I can focus on it, kind of all stacked up together. Definitely a cool set. Definitely worth checking out. All right, now I hadn't seen any of these in actually quite a few years. I've always been a big fan of these films. I know a lot of people, you know, they kind of dig on, especially the fourth one and the third one. But I've always enjoyed all of them. You know, maybe they're not as good, but this first one here, you know, kind of a really weird casting and director. You got Tim Burton as the director, Michael Keaton as Batman, and Jack Nicholson as the Joker. And I think, like, if you kind of thought about these guys, you wouldn't necessarily picture them in these roles, but actually they were very enjoyable in the roles. Like, Michael Keaton makes a really good Batman. He's kind of got the charm, and he makes a good Bruce Wayne, and he's able to kind of transform into Batman and be really great at that character. Now, in this one, Jack Nicholson's character, Jack, he gets kind of set up. He's trying to get rid of this paperwork because he's in, like, organized crime, and he gets set up, and Batman ends up coming to get him, and he, like, shoots some pipe or something, and the stuff comes out and, like, hits him in the face, and he falls over into this chemical, and it ends up turning him into the Joker. And the rest of the movie is basically the Joker trying to get revenge on Batman. And I don't know if he's, like, trying to kill everybody. He seems to be trying to kill just random people in Gotham as well. And I like I say, I'm not sure if his goal is just to kill everybody, or if, you know, he's just, whoever's around, it's good enough if he kills them. Of course, Batman has a love interest in this one. I think it's great, kind of the comparison between it's kind of like a dark industrial Gotham, and then you got the Joker, and he's, you know, wearing purple and green and blue and orange, and, you know, he's always just kind of joking around and being really funny. And I think it's great, even when Batman's just kind of beating him up, he's just laughing and making jokes. And I think it's probably my favorite Joker. After rewatching this, you know, I've always said I like this one better than The Dark Knight. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this one better, or is The Dark Knight better? It's everybody. It's one of those two, you know, as your favorite Batman movies. But I love this Batman movie. I think it's great. I gave this one an 8 out of 10. Picture quality actually on all these is great. I definitely love the picture, especially for the time period when these were made. Great picture quality. There's that kind of end scene where it has that really bad CGI Joker thing going on. Not CGI Joker, but just kind of like I don't know if it's like a green screen effect or whatever. But yeah, great movie. And then we move on to Batman Returns. This was the sequel, also from Tim Burton, and also starring Michael Keaton. Now in this one, we got a different villain. We got Danny DeVito as the Penguin, which to me, I always didn't like the Penguin in this, because they took it far too literally. He's deformed, and his parents throw him in the river or the sewer or whatever it was, and he ends up being raised by penguins. I don't think that's what they originally had meant. I don't know. I've never read the comics, but he has, like, his hands are kind of like, I don't know, they call them like flippers, and like it was always really gross. He's like eating raw fish, and his mouth is all black, and, you know, he's got this suit on, and he always just looked really gross, and he did a lot of really gross stuff, and to me, I always just didn't like that. At the same time, you have this woman who becomes Catwoman, and her and Batman and Bruce Wayne, they kind of have this whole love-hate thing where they're kind of fighting, but they like each other, but they're fighting. And it's a very cool movie. Definitely, I enjoyed this one more than I remembered. The Penguin kind of has all these cool gadgets and cool car and all this kind of cool stuff he comes up with. Again, a really cool look to it. I don't really like the whole look of the Gotham quite as much in this one, but definitely a cool movie. Give this one a 7.5 out of 10. And now that takes us to Batman Forever. This is where, most people kind of considered that the franchise went downhill. Now, I'm not going to pretend I know the history, although I've probably seen videos on it and stuff. But Tim Burton, I believe, produced this one, but he didn't direct it. It was Joel Schumacher who directed this. And to me, in this, they try to go to more of a comedic kind of route. Obviously, they have Jim Carrey as the Riddler. Obviously, you're casting Jim Carrey. You're trying to go for a little more comedy. They also have Tommy Lee Jones as the Two-Face. I always enjoyed Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face. I thought he did really good. I really love the look of him, how that he's got like the multiple suits and like everything of him is at half and half. He's drinking 2 different drinks. His chair is a regular side and an evil side. And but I did notice, maybe it's always been this way, but I did notice like just how cheesy his makeup was. It wasn't very good. It really didn't sell the effect. It was pretty obvious. I'm pretty sure you could even see his hairline, like where he's supposed to have no hair. So that Jim Carrey, I love Jim Carrey, but I think before he becomes the Riddler in this movie, I didn't care for him. Once he becomes the Riddler, I think he's kind of cool. But just as Edward Nygma, I thought he was annoying and didn't find it to be all that interesting. In this one, we have Val Kilmer as Batman, so we no longer have Michael Keaton. Although they do make a reference back to Batman Returns, making me feel like I always thought this was kind of like its own separate movie. But after that, they mentioned Catwoman, and I guess, of course, it could just be anything. But I believe they're referring back to Batman Returns, so it's kind of like the story's continuing. And I think that they have the same Alfred in all the movies. I'm pretty sure it's the same guy. I mean, right? So in this one too, we also get Dick Grayson. So what happens is Two-Face wants revenge on Batman because it's his fault. He fell into or no, he didn't fall into it. He was hit with, like this guy poured acid on him and he blames Batman for it. So he wants to kill Batman. And they're at a circus and he has this giant bomb. And he's going to blow up the circus unless Batman shows up. And Val Kilmer tries to, as Bruce Wayne, say, I'm Batman, but it's too crazy, nobody hears him. And so the Flying Graysons, the circus performers, try to stop the bomb. They end up all getting killed except for Dick Grayson, and he becomes the Robin. And then, of course, the Riddler, comes up with this brain scanning device thing. I do like this movie. I think it's a very colorful movie. I do like all the characters, really. People complain a little bit about the wardrobe of Batman and Robin. Whatever. You guys can complain about whatever you want. I did definitely enjoy this one. Overall, I give this one a 7 out of 10. Now we got the final one here, Batman and Robin. Again, this should be the sequel to Batman Forever, although we have a new Batman played by George Clooney. He is my least favorite Batman. I didn't like him as much. I always thought growing up that I liked him, but this viewing I didn't really care for him quite so much. And then we do have, they only have Arnold Schwarzenegger on there as Mr. Freeze, but we also have Poison Ivy in this one, and we get Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl. But all of them only have Batman as the good guy on here. So both of these, actually, I forgot to mention, they both start with this horrible, cringy joke, and I'm just like, why? Why would you even put that in the movie at all? And why would you open with that to make it even worse? So, so in this one, Mr. Freeze, his wife has got this McGregor syndrome or something, I think it was, and so he's trying to come up with a cure, and he gets frozen, and now he has to live in these really cold temperatures. And he's the bad guy in this movie, but he's really just trying to bring his wife back. You know what I mean? At the same time, I can't remember what her name is before she becomes Poison Ivy, but she is like kind of thrown into this, I don't know, water with all these plants, and the guy thinks she's dead, and she ends up turning into Poison Ivy. She can kind of almost like one with the nature, I guess. And she just kind of wants the plants to take over, and she tells Bruce Wayne, oh, we need to stop all this stuff, and he's like, oh, there's no way that can happen. So she kind of wants to just kill people so that the plants can take over. And then Alfred's niece, comes. Alicia Silverstone, she turns into Batgirl by the end of the movie. Again, some really weird wardrobe choices. On this one, they really seem to be going for like super campy humor. Everything about this movie is super over the top. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It's a very big difference from the first two and even more over the top than the third one. But I don't think that it's a bad thing. I liked it. You know, I thought it was cool. Everything was bright, big, crazy. Like I say, very different look. But I do feel like the effects and the CGI and everything on this sell better than the rest of the movies. I don't really feel like there's as many things where I'm just like, oh, that's terrible looking. You know, there is a scene where they're kind of driving their cars on this statue. That was not too good, but other than that, I think the CGI is well done. Again, this is a story I enjoy. I do like the characters. I like the movie. Just it's a little too cheesy, especially basically every one of Arnold's lines. They're just like one-liners, and they don't work. You know, they're not funny. They're they should not have tried so hard to do this comedy. So I think, you know, as a good movie, I do enjoy it, but it's just a little too cheesy maybe. So I'm gonna give this one a 6.5 out of 10. I still like it. It's still one I like watching. I don't know if they maybe just try to cram a little too much in this one. I do feel like, even though it doesn't necessarily have a lot longer or even maybe necessarily longer runtime, it does feel longer. It does feel a little bit like it's slowing down in points, but definitely, again, worth checking out. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching my video. Remember, these are all releasing June 4th, 2019 from Warner Brothers.